started to come in.
Okay.
I heard it twice. Really?
Was that the spirit being us to come inside?
Could be.
Because we were talking to a soldier out here.
Mm-hmm.
Then I asked him if he would come inside, and he said yes. Because the peepers are so loud out there, we can't hear the voice recorder.
He's getting EVPs though. Tim's been getting
He's
EVPs.
like crazy.
Well, I think Charles just got one. We need to listen to
Do
it.
you want to play it?
Yeah.
So everyone at home, this is Charles, Linda, and Carol, and that's IR Flair. These are all members of Ghost City Paranormal. He's going to play an EVP for us. Yeah.
Can anybody tell me what you experienced here in your time?
Right there. Said, why don't you tell me?
Can anybody tell me what you experienced here in your time?
You're going to have to wait until after they're done talking, Charles. Our findings for the Gettysburg train station. There is definitely something paranormal here. We communicated with the spirit in the back for quite some time. We will show you some of the evidence that we gathered from this investigation on future episodes of Lifting the Veil. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Good night. This is a gauze meter. This is one of the low-end EMF meters. If you're starting out, if you're a rookie to the paranormal field, I would suggest picking one of these up. It's got an audible tone. It's very good to use when you're trying to set up traps for spirits to come in. This will chirp a couple of times if something comes close to it. In theory, spirits give off EMF levels. I've seen it time and time again. Responsive EMF spikes. You can ask a spirit, pass your hand in front of this device once for yes, twice for no, 3 for I don't know. That's just a personal preference. And this will chirp if the spirit gets close to it. I've seen it time and time again. This is a very nice tool if you're starting out. Feel free to contact us if you ever have a paranormal situation. Val. I'm joined by my mom and dad. This is Herb and Denise. This is Mary and Carol Finch, of course. We're going to have a roundtable discussion tonight on different subjects in the paranormal. I'm holding notes right here, so if you're wondering what I'm doing when I look down, it's just to make sure that we touch on everything that we decided to discuss tonight. This is going to be something we do regularly on the show, Lifting the Veil. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Mary's holding a device. If you've watched the program before, this is the tri-field meter. Carol's holding K2 meter. My mother, Denise, she's holding a voice recorder. She's just letting it go because you never know when the spirits might chime in. Before we got started here, we already started discussing things, got ahead of ourselves here. My mom was talking about experiences that she's had. We lived down in North Carolina for a while, me, my mom and dad. We had some pretty crazy experiences down there, definitely paranormal. I had a dog at the time, and if you want to go ahead and talk about what happened when me and Dad went to the store.
My husband and my son were at the store, and we had a golden retriever, and I was downstairs, and I heard this noise outside, and it didn't sound human. I couldn't place what kind of animal it was, and my dog was on his hind legs barking and growling at this thing, and I was terrified.
Now the other thing, when I looked in the backyard, this is before we had experienced this. It looked like maybe a vagrant or a bum had set up like a tent out of wood. It looked like a den or something, but it looked like it was such where a person was living there. And you know, my folks here, you know, we're city folk, you know, so we're not used to the you know, the outdoors and stuff like that. I mean, you know, we love the outdoors and everything else, but you know, my parents here, they really feel uncomfortable walking through the woods outside of New York because they're afraid of, you know, like snakes and alligators and stuff like that. So I went ahead and went back there, you know, I just put my pants on, and you know, of course, that's how, you know, kids are. They just go ahead and do things without thinking. Not that you should be afraid of going in the woods anyhow, but you know, so I went back there and I looked at it and I'm like, what the heck is this, right? And it just looked like, I said, it looked like almost a teepee type situation out of like broken branches and stuff. And then later on, my mom experienced this, and then a few nights later, I worked for an establishment down there where I didn't get out of work till 12, 1 o'clock sometimes. So I'd come home and I'd sit in my room, which was on the second floor, and I'd have my windows open, of course, because it was like 1,000 degrees down there in North Carolina. So I'm sitting there, and I'm watching a movie, and all of a sudden it sounds like a freight train just went through the woods. It was just unbelievable. My dog went nuts, completely nuts, and I'm looking out the window because I'm thinking, what the heck could that be, a bear or something? And then it made this screech that was just ungodly. And I am familiar with the woods. You know, I may be a city folk, but I do know, you know, normal animal sounds and such. I mean, I'm not one that's going to hear an owl scream and think it's something paranormal. I know the difference between animal and something supernatural. But it just was ungodly, the sound it made. And then a few weeks later, our neighbors had experienced something similar to that, tore apart their whole backyard, their lawn stuff, and they thought kids came and did it. So they went out and bought a security system and set it up in the woods there. And it was just like, you know, and these are people familiar with the outdoors. You know, this was in the, you know, in the boonies here. You know, and it was just very strange, you know, the stuff that we experienced there. I mean, there was a bunch of weird things that took place down there that I can't explain. I know it happened, and, you know, that's why we're talking about it.